Yes, people. Welcome back to the Ram Stand. To a Liverpool match reaction. Marseille nil, Liverpool 3. A very, very dominant display against a very, very good team. A very, very good Roberto De Zerbi team. That's sitting third, I believe, in France, behind PSG, and I believe Lens as well. So they are a very good team. Um, and overall, from start to finish, it was a very, very dominant display. But before I get into anything, housekeeping as always, people. Make sure you like the stream. Make sure you comment on the video, your thoughts on the game, whether you agree with what I'm saying, whether I missed out anyone that deserves a little bit of praise, and just your overall thoughts on Liverpool against Marseille. Because I'll be real, I was thoroughly impressed. And I will also, before we get on with anything else, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 1,000 subscribers, as well. So we're getting there slowly but surely. We're getting there, and hopefully, once we hit that 1K, we can steamroll over to 2K as well. So yes, let's get into it. It was a very, very positive game. Very, very positive from start to finish. I don't think I could say much negative about the game. I think if you want to go a bit negative at the start, then we did give away a couple of cheap chances to Marseille. I think Marseille had a couple of really good opportunities on the break against us, which I think is going to happen with every team. But even on the break, we did really well to cow every single passing lane. And whenever they did have a shot on target, it really didn't test Ali, barring that last chance against Aubameyang. So I think overall, defensively, organization-wise, Virgil doing his thing. Joe Gomez, who I'll give a shout out to, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about the guy later on in the video. But overall, defensively, I think we were very, very short. A couple of people were a bit dangerous against us. I think Mason Greenwood, even though it hurts me to say it, he was very, very good. Was a very dangerous outlet. But I think overall we did keep him quiet throughout the entire game. But going into the game, Liverpool fans were very skeptical. Everyone knew the quality of Marseille. Everyone knew that Roberto De Zerbi, obviously what he did at Brighton, plays very, very good football, very efficient football, very attractive football. And also, he knows how to drill a team into getting wins. We saw it with Brighton. We saw what he's doing with Marseille, a team who's not really fancied in Ligue 1, giving a couple of issues to the likes of PSG and teams at the top of the French league. Going into the game, every single Liverpool fan was, and I can say this, and I can speak for Liverpool fans, we were not confident going to the Stade Velodrome. I think a lot of people were expecting us to lose this game, given our run of results, drawing against Burnley, drawing against the likes of Leeds. It's just not been good enough. Performances haven't been good enough. Certain players haven't been performing at the level. I think only a handful have really stepped up, and the others really haven't. So I think going to the game, a lot of Liverpool fans were expecting us to either draw the game or lose quite convincingly. I think every preview was like, oh, we've got to be worried about this player. We've got to be worried about this player. And we've got to be worried about Roberto De Zerbi. His teams don't give up. His teams don't give us a second to breathe. But from minute 1 to minute 90, I think one thing I'm very proud of the Liverpool players is we set the tempo from the very get-go. We told them that even though we are in a little bit of a tough period, a tough patch of form, we're still Liverpool, and we still put up the levels regardless of who we're playing against. And most importantly, it's Champions League. Regardless of what's happening in the league, we're not going to drop our levels in the Champions League. And that is the kind of response that I needed from this team. From the very get-go, pressing, the formation change as well, which I will give Arne Slot his credit. Going from that 4-2-3-1-2 into a bit more of a 4-3-1-2, the diamond that we kept on crying out for. And the fact that the big news was Mo Salah is starting again for Liverpool Football Club after just coming back from AFCON, which I didn't think a lot of people thought was going to happen. I mean, we heard about the issues that Slot and Salah had together. I didn't think any person thought Salah would be starting against Marseille from minute one. I think maybe he'll come off the bench. Obviously, coming back from AFCON, I think they played on Saturday. Unfortunately, lost the third place playoff, which again, I don't know why we have third place playoffs. It's a nothing game. It's the winner of the winner is the glorified losers match. But that's bye to bye. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think he'll be match fit. I didn't think he'll be ready to come back and play club football. I thought we would give him a rest, but Arne Slot decided to play him, and it paid its dividends. Ekitike and Salah. Whilst I was a bit skeptical, I think I did say I'd rather Chiesa and Salah. I think Chiesa was injured on the lead up to it, but lead up to the game. But I was saying Ekitike and Salah on paper, it works. Like if you ask him to do what he got to do, it works on paper. So why don't we try it out? And today it showed. Today it showed convincingly as well. The amount of space that these guys had, the ability for them to go out wide if they wanted to, being closer to goal, where we've been crying and saying on multiple occasions, Mo Salah, his best attributes and the best thing you need to get the most out of Mo Salah is get him closer to goal. What does he do? You're closer to goal, creates more chances, and it's a bigger threat. So whilst we were crying for it, whilst we criticized Slot for not doing it, he ended up doing it, and it pays its dividends as well. So big up to Mo, big up to Slot to an extent for making the changes. And overall, like the game was just, I think we had a couple of iffy moments at the first periods, but I think we dealt with them well. And then once I think we scored the first goal where Szoboszlai cuts it to Ekitike, Marseille were a bit like, oh God, it's going to be a long, long game. And it showed. It showed. As soon as we scored that goal, even though it was offside, Marseille looked shook from then on. And we didn't stop. We did not stop. We kept on hustling. We kept on pressing them. We kept on demanding them to try and break us down, try and press resist us, because we're going to do what's necessary. And it showed. From after that, Szoboszlai, who was around the pitch, just doing what Szoboszlai does, pressing across the pitch, trying to link up play and everything like that. He was very, very good today. And our first goal showed. The first goal came from a free kick. I think we crossed the ball in from Frimpong. They headed it away, but as soon as they headed it back to the same player, pressed them as much as possible. Grav wins the ball back and wins a foul, which leads up to the free kick, which Szoboszlai cleverly and very, very cheekily slots it underneath the wall, and it becomes 1-0 to Liverpool. Big up Szoboszlai, because he was having a bit of an indifferent game on the ball. I think there was a couple of moments where he could have played the right ball, made the right decision. But boy, he made up for it with that incredible, incredible free kick. And it didn't stop. The second half, nothing changed. We still went out. We still pressed. We played a lot more direct football. A lot faster as well. The pace of the game, we were controlling it from start to finish. And it begs the question, where was this performance? Where was this for the last 4 to 5 weeks? Where was this performance? How is it we're doing this at the Stade Velodrome, but we can't do this in our own home in the Premier League? It's a big question mark. It's a big, big question mark. And our second goal, one of the main standout performers for the last couple of weeks, Jeremy Frimpong, does what he does best, goes down that byline, drives straight down that defense, and a bit fortuitously, but very good play, crosses it in, which deflects off, I believe it's Molina, then comes off Geronimo Rulli, which goes into the back of the net. So big up Jeremy Frimpong. And a bit unlucky that he didn't get involved with the goal, but because the goal was mainly down to Frimpong getting past a picture and putting the ball into the box. But it is what it is. But that doesn't fault the fact that even if it is an own goal, I'm still giving it to Frimpong. So fair play to him. And our third goal, the icing on the cake. We win the ball back off of Marseille in our own half. Counter attack. Dominik Szoboszlai again with a nice little back heel to break up the play, give a load of space for Gravenberch to run into. Curtis Jones makes the run into the box, frees up Cody Gakpo, Gravenberch finds Gakpo, cuts inside. Whilst we criticize Cody for being quote unquote cutting Cody, cuts inside all the time. This time he cuts inside and actually scores a goal. So fair play to Cody, fair play to the Liverpool team. A very, very dominant performance from start to finish. One person I want to shout out, even though he didn't register GA, Milos Kerkez had a very, very tough start to life at Liverpool. Incredibly tough. A lot of people were saying he was done at the highest level. People were saying that he can't play at the highest level. Certain people were calling him the Hungarian Alberto Moreno. But today he proved to everyone that whilst he had a tough time at the start of the season, he can perform at the highest level. And this show today, overlapping as much as possible, going down the byline, being a threat on the wide areas, crossing the ball in, underlapping when he needs to, not inverting, not always underlapping, but whenever he had space, whenever there's space in the middle of the park, he occupied the area, underlapped, drove with the ball, and created space for either Wirtz or if Ekitike was free, giving him space as well. That is what we're looking for. Those are the kind of stuff that we're asking Milos Kerkez to do, not to invert as a third centre back to start dictating play from the halfway line. We don't want that. We want him further up the field, along the byline, being able to cross the ball into the likes of Ekitike, Salah, or any of the occupying forwards that are in the penalty area. That's what we expect from him. So big up Kerkez, and defensively as well. I already touched upon Mason Greenwood being a little bit of a problem for us in the game. Milos Kerkez dealt with him very, very well. Extremely well. He didn't let him go past him. He was always present whenever he was able to, whenever Green was in a dangerous area. Did not let him go from minute one. Always resorted to Greenwood to look, if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna have to take a shot from distance. I believe that Ali will be able to save whatever shot, so I'm gonna let you shoot from distance. And that's exactly what he did. Every long shot Ali dealt with. He was either going wide. That is what we're asking of Milos Kerkez. And look, he has had a tough time. He has been poor in the first 6 months of his career. I believe it's 6 months. I think no. The first 4 months of his career, I'd say. But the last few weeks, he has really shown the levels that we expected from him, even from last season, the levels that we thought we were going to get from the start of the season. And fair play to him. He took on the criticism. And he took on criticism from his own teammates and from the manager, but he's kicked on and hasn't looked back. And it's the perfect time for him to start performing because we were struggling. We were needing people to start stepping up. And this is the perfect time for Milos Kerkez to step up. So big up Milos for today. Another player I want to speak about as well is Joe Gomez. And I want to speak about this because I am a massive fan of Joe Gomez. Ever since he signed for Liverpool from Charlton, I feel sorry for him in many regards about his Liverpool career because this Liverpool career has been hampered by ACL injuries, ankle injuries, knee injuries, reoccurring injuries. He just hasn't had a break from injury crises in his entire career. And today, obviously, Ibu not being available because of family reasons, having to go back to France. Going into this game, I was worried that Joe Gomez was going to get exposed tonight. And do you know what? He did not put a foot wrong today. His distribution was incredible. The pace is still there. The one thing that I was worried about, whether he still had the pace to get back and defend, is still there. His composure, the most important thing that you probably need as a Liverpool centre-back, the composure was there. Never looked uncomfortable on the ball. Always looking to get into a challenge, being aggressive when needing to be. I could not fault anything that Joe Gomez did today. I think in certain regards, he may have been better better than Virgil van Dijk today. I think today his tackling was good. His overall defensive contributions was very good. Heading accuracy was good. It's just all overall almost of a throwback to performance from Joe Gomez. Back to seeing him back in 2018-19, his most dominant performances. And I just want to say fair play to you, bro. Fair play, because you've had a tough time of it. You've had a tough time. a lot of a doubt going into the game whether you'd be able to handle Marseille, but you certainly proved everybody wrong, man. So big yourself up for that. Lastly, the manager, the topic of conversation for Liverpool for the past few months. If anyone knows my opinions on the manager, I still believe that he's not the guy to take us forward for the next couple seasons. But the one thing I would do is I would never shy away from giving a person credit when they deserve it. And today, even though I said it before, how is it that myself, a content creator that just sits in his room and comes up with different ways of playing football, is asking certain things of the football, certain things from the team, but honest lot, the Liverpool manager is not doing it. And now he's proven to himself that he can do it. He's proven to everybody that he's able to change up the style, change up his structure in order to get the best out of the players, and that is what we've been asking for. It's not. We're against your philosophy or anything like that. Although I don't think your philosophy works in English football, but it's getting the best out of these players. We've got an incredibly talented group of players, from goalkeeper to striker, from starting 11 to bench to the reserves. We've got incredible players in this team, and all we want is for our players to play at its maximum potential. That is what we're asking for. And Arne Slot today did exactly what we've been asking for. Ekitike, I said it before, in the front two, he has ability. If he has the ability to go wide, you can still get the best out of him. What happens? You see him in the wider areas, taking on his man, being a constant threat on that left-hand side. That is what we've been asking for. Something different. We're not asking for much, in my opinion. I don't think it's much. I think these players are capable of doing it. But all in all, I don't want to keep going at the guy. I think he already knows exactly what's up with Liverpool. But on today's performance, incredible managerial performance from Arne Slot. I think tactically he set us up in the right way possible, and credit deserves to be given when it's deserved. And he 100% deserves every single piece of credit that Liverpool get from this game today. So big up Arne Slot. Fair play to yourself. Please continue like this. And please do not revert back to type. I beg of you. If we go to Bournemouth and we decide to revert back to type, we're just going to be on that cycle again and again and again. Please do not revert back to type. Please stick to this. And please play a certain way of football that gets the best out of our football players. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for much, because I think if we get the best out of our footballers, we still win majority of our football matches because of the quality. Which goes on to our next point. Bournemouth. We have got Bournemouth away from home, which I'll do a little preview for later this week. It should be the same. If we can do this at the Stade Velodrome against a very good Marseille team, I should be expecting this against Bournemouth in the South Coast. So business as usual. We're sitting fourth in the Champions League, which is a very, very good spot to be in at this moment. I think the only teams that are ahead of us in the Champions League is obviously Arsenal, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid. So we're joint, to be exact, we're joint third with Real Madrid. And if we win our next game, which I believe is Karabag at home, we automatically finish in the top 8, which for a disastrous season is a very good Champions League campaign so far. And the last thing we need to face, or the last thing we need at this moment in time, is to play 2 playoff games in the middle of our incredibly busy schedule of football. I'm still expecting us to go far in the FA Cup. But the fact that the league is gone, we need to do well in the cup competitions. And the quality of team that we got, the quality of players that we've got, I don't think isn't much to ask, to be honest. I really, really don't. Which goes on to my last point, our chances in the Champions League. Now, if anyone that's watched me for the past couple of months, or even at the start of the season, regardless of whatever you think about the team or how good it is, I have seen worse teams in the history of the Champions League, in the history of this football club, win a Champions League. And if you're telling me, if you have a team of Ekitike, Wirtz, Salah, Alisson, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister, you can't tell me those players aren't capable of winning a Champions League trophy. It is an incredibly stacked squad. And I don't see any team in Europe, probably barring PSG and Bayern, that worry me at this moment. I know people say, "What about Arsenal? What about Arsenal? They're so dominant in the top and the top of the league." One, our record against English teams is actually quite good. To be honest, I think the only team that's beaten us in the Champions League in our history is probably Chelsea. Chelsea in 08-09 and 07-08. Because before then, 06-07, we beat them on pens at Anfield. 05-06, I think we drew both times in the second league phase. Or was it the second? No, it was the league phase. There was no second league. It was the group stage. And the first time, 04-05, we beat them at Anfield. Obviously, the Luis Garcia ghost goal. Barring that, we saw what we did to Arsenal at the Emirates. We saw what we did to them at Anfield. I fancy us against any English team in at this moment in time in the Champions League. We know what our history is like in the Champions League. We know what we're capable of as well. And if we perform at our best and we continue the performances that we had at the Stade Velodrome, you can't not tell me that we can win the Champions League. You can't not tell me that we have no chance in the Champions League. We have arguably the best starting 11 on paper in terms of talent in the world. And if we get the best out of those players, you can't convince me otherwise. You can't convince me otherwise, in my opinion. I still think the season is salvageable. I don't throw away seasons at all, regardless of what manager that is, because of the players that we got. I still think we can go out and win this Champions League. Obviously, if the draw is favorable to us, then 100%. If we do go up against those two teams, PSG and Bayern, then it's a different story. But for now, I'm very, very happy with this performance. I want us to continue this from now until the end of the season. And hopefully, and praying, we can continue this on until May and hopefully win a Champions League or an FA Cup or both. Hopefully, it's the Champions League. I think FA Cup is not good enough, in my opinion. But if we win both, then I'll take it, man. I'll take it. But people, I appreciate you watching this video. That will be all. We will be doing a preview for Liverpool versus Bournemouth later this week. Please do leave your thoughts in the comments below. I want to get your thoughts on the game. Is there anyone that I missed out that deserves a little bit of a shout out? I think Szoboszlai deserves one. Kirkes, Gomez was really good. Salah came back. Ekitike, even without the GA, was very good. Is there anyone else that I'm missing out? That was incredible. Please put your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. On the road to 1,000. I'm 3 away. Just 3 away from 700. If you can get that done, that would be fantastic. But I'll leave you guys, people. I appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see you in the Liverpool versus Bournemouth preview.